Welcome to the Green Beret Life. This is the SCIF. I want to apologize in advance. We are having a few technical difficulties with both Rumble and Odyssey. Normally, we just make a few comments on YouTube and then we transition off of YouTube to Rumble and Odyssey. But right now, we might stay on YouTube a little while longer. So, Chris, please keep us in line with what is coming out, the words that are coming out of our mouths, because we can't speak freely here. I'm not seeing anything appear. I have Rumble pulled up separately, so I don't know if we're getting anything on Rumble or not. We'll
Okay,
see.
Okay, Rumble's up, Matt. We're on Rumble.
It's up?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So at least we got Rumble. We don't have Odyssey. I want to apologize to everybody out there in advance. I don't know. Odyssey is doing maintenance on their site. We couldn't even get our thumbnail up. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, Odyssey is doing some kind of like readjustment to their site tonight.
Okay.
So,
hey, you know what? We have to drive on and go with what we have. Maybe we'll stay on YouTube for a little while longer. I see us on Rumble now. Okay. I do want to make an announcement. We're going to have a special guest next Thursday for the SCIF. Chris and I try to do this every once in a while, is get very interesting guests, especially somewhat related to our community on. And when we find somebody that's really, really interesting, we want to bring them to you. So we're going to have Dr. Christopher Ostrander from the SOF Network. You're going to find him very, very interesting. The SOF Network is an organization that is sort of focused around the SOF community, Special Forces, Navy SEALs, MARSOC, Rangers, and other SOF as well. And what they try to facilitate mental health care for SOF personnel, and it's a great organization. If you want to look them up ahead of time, go to thesofnetwork.org. And but we're going to have him with us next week, Dr. Chris. It's going to be a great show. We hope you all tune in. If you know anybody that might be interested, please have them tune in as well to Rumble, Odyssey. We're going to probably play the whole show on YouTube as well. It should be pretty straightforward. Who knows with YouTube though? So that decision will be made between now and next week. We're going to have a good show for you tonight. We are going to talk about several things going on. Obviously, we know what's going on in the House right now, and just in case any of you are wondering where I stand, I love it. I absolutely love it. We have 20 patriots that represent 90% of the conservative population out there, or patriot population, I'm going to say, not even patriot population out there. The mainstream media and Fox News and the Rhino media want you to believe that we are in the minority. We are not in the minority, not even close. So right now you have 20 patriots standing strong against 200 plus. Now, I'm not going to say they're all rhinos that are pushing. Some people have some ideas on how to move forward with this. But I want to tell you, remember what we always say, Chris and I always say, when you see a patriot taking incoming, what do? You stand with that patriot. And we're going to stand with that patriot. And you've seen some of the more outspoken, I'm sure, on the news getting bashed by everybody. Sean Hannity had Lauren Boebert last night. Sean Hannity, you've probably heard me make comments before. I used to be a fan at one time. Sean Hannity lost his way several years ago and has obviously sold out and is nothing but a streetwalker for the Rhino Republican establishment. You look at his guests that he brings on, and you look at his panic and meltdown last night with Lauren Boebert, which was completely inappropriate. I wish Lauren would have basically walked off his show and basically called him a sellout. This is the same Sean Hannity that it came to light recently, was texting Donald Trump, trying to get him, begging and pleading that he pardon Hunter Biden. Does that sound like somebody who is in the fight for us? No, no. So anyways, you're starting to see Tucker has been true for sure. He is. There are several good people on Fox, but if you watched the Fox coverage the majority of the day yesterday, they were having a meltdown, bringing turds on like Karl Rove and Ari Fleischer, and you name everybody, taking swipes at the 20 Patriots that are standing. In fact, Dan Crenshaw, Eye Patch McCain, as some people refer to him as, was, and Michael Waltz too, but Dan Crenshaw was actually referring to these Patriots as domestic terrorists. Does that surprise anybody at this stage? Texas, get rid of that turd. Get rid of that turd. Don't fall into the eye patch nonsense. Don't fall into the seal. Yeah, he served his country. He was injured. Great. But he ain't serving you now. He is serving his special interests in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and big military industrial is what he's serving. Okay? These guys are pushing all of our money over into Ukraine. We know that's a bogus war. Everything about that is a mess. Okay, so do not think that we are in the minority here at all. Okay, Byron Donalds, who is the representative here for Southwest Florida, who is a patriot. His name was in the ring for a little bit, but he's one of the 20 patriots standing up right now. And what they're trying to basically do, Chris, is get McCarthy to basically capitulate on some of the held rules inside the House that basically keep the status quo. They don't want the status quo. It's not working. Republicans are slowing the decline of the country down instead of reversing it. And they're working with Democrats. It's obvious this latest 1.7, which is really a $2 trillion stimulus or a $2 trillion omnibus bill that was rammed through by the Democrats and the Republicans in the Senate last week, is obvious that there's something broken, seriously broken. And one of the things, Chris, that stands out with all of this is you're now starting to see how deep the establishment is in the Republican Party, and why the Republican Party needs to be torn down, absolutely torn down to its core. We need fighters for us. We've got 20 right now trying to fight. What's your take on this, Chris?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And to me, it looks like when you say it that way, right? It looks to me like there's a lot of self-interest there. So
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean? The self-interest has outweighed the interests of the people. Okay, because these people that got put in there, all right, have forgotten about what their constituents wanted and then had focused on their self-interest. And to me, self-interest means money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think a lot of these people are in there for the money. Um, Again, self interest and how far can I go in this system? And eventually, maybe being promised something other than money
Yeah.
and maybe a more position of power or something. I don't know. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that to me, that's kind of where it's going.
I um I I shouldn't be surprised, but watching the coverage of this on Fox News, and it's hard to stomach, to be honest with you, because they're bringing on Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy sucks. Everybody thought Trey Gowdy was a fighter and was supposed to be this great prosecutor and this and that. Trey Gowdy was, Chris. He was super known for making really good speeches on the floor during sessions where there were media cameras in there on the House floor. He would say the right things. He would make you think he was a fighter, but nothing was ever happening. And part of what these 20 Republicans wanted is they want a deep investigation into the Department of Justice, from what I understand. Now, McCarthy says he wants that, but They want to make sure that they put the right guy in chair of the committee that's going to do the investigation into the Department of Justice, and they want him to be able to pick the members of the Department of Justice. So McCarthy doesn't go and grab a bunch of rhinos and throw them on that. So, like, say, just for example, they want to drag Ray Epps in front of the House, that the rhinos would put a stop to that and would never agree to it. Or maybe they're doing another investigation down the line. They want to bring Nancy Pelosi in front of the House. They don't want the rhinos to stop it. These are some of the things that they want to do because they want to have legitimate investigations. There's very little we can do other than expose, because the Democrats control the Senate. And obviously, the Biden administration, which is corrupt, controls the DOJ, which is absolutely corrupt. So if they suggest that there should be a prosecution, the DOJ isn't going to pick it up. But they can drag Merrick Garland in front of the House and rake him over the coal with legitimate questions, right? And exposing him, right? And bring maybe some other people and take deeper dives. So these are legitimate investigations that really show the whole story. And guess what? It may show that there's some certain people on our side that have actually been working with their side. This is what the rhino establishment is deathly afraid of. So you need to support these 20 that are out there. And in fact, I'll go down the list of who these 20 are. And there's some other people that, quite frankly, I don't want to toss them into the rhino side because they've been good representatives for us. But they, for some other reason, are on the other side right now. So Fox News, the narrative that Fox News has been running, Chris, is the American people in a resounding no, don't want the conservative America First side. They want the more moderate side, as illustrated in last election. Now, I got to be very careful here because we've got YouTube on. And you start talking about elections. There's at YouTube headquarters out in California right now. There's switches and dials going nuts. They're working them right now, waiting to see what we're going to say, right? You guys know where we stand. We're not going to say anything here because sure as shit, you know what they're going to do to Chris and I. Not that we really care, but we still want to try to keep this platform open, okay? Because we want to pull you guys over to Rumble and Odyssey. And it makes it hard on nights like tonight when we're having technical difficulties with Odyssey. But I think Rumble is emerging. This is just a side note. I know I'm getting off on I think Rumble is emerging the platform that's really going to give YouTube a run for its money. And if you have to join just one, go and join Rumble. I would like you to join Odyssey. I'd like you to join BitChute. I'd like you to join some of the alternate platforms out there to support them. But Rumble is really starting to get some traction. And Chris, I mean, are you seeing that the same way I am?
Yeah. Yeah. There's.
Go ahead.
You know, I think we were talking about sort of this earlier. Okay. The traction part is good. That when you get traction, here's what you got to maintain it. Okay. And if the rhinos are definitely have something to hide, and they're being exposed one at a time or voted out, and they got something to hide. We know what it is. They know what it is there. Those 20 know what it is. Okay, now get them out, because the exposure ain't going to do nothing. The congressional hearings are not going to do nothing. Expose them and get them out. Vote them out.
Yeah. So right, the traditional way, the congressional hearings. If we allow the rhinos their way, the congressional hearings will show nothing. They'll protect people. If that's why we stand with these 20 that are holding firm. So if they get what they're asking for from McCarthy, that is good. It's obvious that the 200 and some members aren't going to vote for anybody else. So the goal is either make it so they're going to have to, or get McCarthy to come over and do what they're asking. So if we can get complete control of some of these committees, that is huge. That is huge, because then we're beyond being reined in. You know what I'm saying? So, and they also want to be able to have control over McCarthy. They also want to be able to have control over bills that are brought to the floor that are packed with all sorts of things, which is how we got this mess that we got. They want single issue bills brought to the floor, not where people can pack them with pork and say, well, I'll give you this if you let us have this and do this, and you're wasting the taxpayers' money. We need to support these patriots. They are doing the right thing. And do not buy, and this is what I was getting back to before, do not buy the Fox News narrative that there wasn't a landslide because of the candidates. The RNC actively tanked this last election by pulling money from America First candidates and shoving them towards the Rhino candidates. That's why we have a couple things coming up here. Ronna McDaniel needs to go as the head of the RNC. She needs to go. That's Romney's niece, Mitt Romney's niece. Okay, so you have two good candidates running, Mike Lindell and Harmeet Dillon. I love both of those candidates. Okay, both of them would be 1,000 times better than Ronna McDaniel. She's been a loser all the way since 2018. She's lost everything since 2018, yet the Rhinos are trying to keep her. I wonder why. I wonder why. So it's an absolute mess, folks. Support these 20 patriots. I'm going to go through the list of who they are. Okay, just I want to call them out, and I want to give them the credit where credit is due, because these guys are taking serious heat, folks. Here they are: Andy Biggs of Arizona, Dan Bishop of North Carolina, Lauren Boebert of Colorado, Josh Breachin of Oklahoma. I think it's Breachin or Brecken. Michael Cloud of Texas, Andrew Clyde of Georgia, Eli Crane of Arizona, Matt Gaetz, who is a fighter, man, of Florida, Bob Good of Virginia, Paul Gosar, another fighter, Arizona, Andy Harris of Maryland, Anna Paulina Luna. You know, I wasn't a big fan of hers, but she's doing the right thing so far, of Florida, Mary Miller of Illinois. You have some base people in Illinois. Remember I told you the whole state of Illinois, with the exception of Chicago, is conservative, but Chicago ruins it because of the population. Ralph Norman of South Carolina, Andy Ogles of Tennessee, Scott Perry of Pennsylvania, Matt Rosendale of Montana, Chip Roy, another fighter, Texas, Keith Self, Texas. These people are patriots, and they need your support. Send letters. They sign. Lauren Boebert is passing around petitions. So go to her website and look into those petitions. I'm sure they're all doing it. Okay, but support them and do not buy into the Fox News Rhino narrative. What is the comment, Chris?
Here's the comment. Kind of weird and scary that the World Economic Forum listed Kevin McCarthy as their majority leader of the House on their website on January 4th.
Oh, that is odd, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know what? Now
that's
would be a good time. Let's get off of YouTube. If those for those of you on YouTube, I don't want to be looking over my back and worrying about what I'm saying, and I know Chris doesn't either. We want to speak freely here. Chris and I are all about the truth. We're not saying we have the answers for everything. We're trying to push out ideas. We want to hear ideas from you. So let's switch off YouTube for now. Remember, we got the Soft Network on next week with Dr. Chris, and we will see you guys over at Rumble. Right now, Odyssey is down. So anybody that's on Odyssey, switch over to Rumble, please. Anybody who can, get over to Rumble, join Rumble. We'll see you there. Out of here.